What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Philip with Geared Towards Automotive, and on today we're checking out the 2020 Kia Telluride S V6. Finally, I know it's been out for a while, but I wanted to get a review up on here for you guys and for everybody to see this amazing, everlasting silver Telluride. Now this puts a lot of other SUVs just completely out of the question. So without further ado, let's just jump into it, start it up, check out the inside, outside, and see all the cool new features with the brand new model 2020 Kia Telluride coming up. Now we're inside the vehicle, let's drive it. Want to point out a few things first while I'm not driving, just because it's less distracting, to be honest with you guys. So I noticed I was messing around with the front climate control, and those are just the regular analog controls up here. But then I heard the air behind me going, wanted to turn that off, obviously, so it's not in the microphone like it is now. And you hit the rear button here, and it actually brings it up on the screen. So that is touch, which is pretty cool. And you can adjust the temperature right there for them back there, where it's blowing, and then the airspeed as well, or you can cut it off and you can lock the controls as well. So just like a lot of other vehicles on the market, you can lock it. So if your kids are jumping around in the back, hitting the buttons, you can lock them out, or you can control it for them if they're too little and they're strapped in a car seat. This model is the 2020 Kia Telluride S V6. Now this has a couple upgrades. So this is just under $40,000 at around $37,000 as this one is equipped. Now they're not all the same, but that's this one. So this vehicle, the all-wheel drive V6, is going to get around 19 miles per gallon in the city and 24 miles per gallon on the highway. Without the all-wheel drive, you could expect 20 and 26 if you didn't have the all-wheel drive. So again, that's your decision, and it all depends on the driver, but the gas mileage can vary depending on the type of transmission that you have. All right, let's set off in this awesome new SUV. One thing I noticed right off the bat too is not only is it super comfortable and the visibility is great, you feel like you're sitting just high enough off the ground to where you're not just in a massive car, but it's very quiet, and that's not even with the auto engine idle off. Just as the car is idling normally in comfort mode, not sport mode, it's just very nice and quiet. So this car is a 3.8 liter V6 SUV, and it has 291 horsepower. And with the all-wheel drive, as this one sits, you can tow up to 5,000 pounds. Now I would assume, I haven't checked into it, I can put it right here, the towing capacity for the non-all-wheel drive models probably less. I'm gonna guess it's about half. As we make our way onto the ramp to get onto the highway, you'll instantly notice that the 8-speed automatic transmission shifts in and out of gears pleasantly. It doesn't hesitate and doesn't lag, and it also doesn't shift too quick either. I don't like when that happens. So this one has enough power. Now if you switch it down here into sport mode, as I'm getting onto the highway, you'll notice it kind of kicks into gear a little bit quicker. It's just a little bit jumpier, it has more torque, but that's what that's for. So you can obviously tow things in sport mode, or just get around other vehicles and just have the power that you need, get all the power out of the 291 horsepower. You also have Smart as well. Then you have Eco, which is going to do the complete opposite of Sport. It's going to kind of dumb some stuff down, and that's actually the lane departure warning and the blind spot stuff kicking in, which is pretty cool. That's part of the Kia Advanced Driving Assistance Systems. And I'll do a whole video on all of those features because there's a whole long list of those features. If I don't have my blinker on and I get close to the line, for example, it's going to go off. If I'm in cruise control with the Telluride and I'm coming up on a vehicle, it's actually going to let me know that I'm coming up on that vehicle, and it's going to adjust my speed as well. You've seen that in other videos. It's similar to the Honda Sensing that I went over, but it works the same way. Now, the difference between that car and this car is I think this one looks way better than that one. It has a lot more technology for the money, a lot more bang for your buck, and a better warranty too. So if I had to choose between the two, just a quick comparison now that I'm talking about it, the Honda Pilot or Passport compared to the Kia Telluride wins all day long. But back to the driving portion of the vehicle. You have the nice touchscreen up here. The vehicle is super comfortable. You have a nice spot to rest your arm over here. Armrest right here is nice and big, and it's leather wrapped as well, so it's comfortable. You have the auto engine idle on and off. Of course, in all the vehicles I get into, I turn that off just because I don't like the feeling of it kicking on and off, but you have that down there. And then you have the snow mode too. So it doesn't really snow a lot where I am. However, a lot of parts of the country, in the United States at least, I know it snows quite a bit, and you don't necessarily have the means to get a Jeep or a truck. You want decent gas mileage, but you need space for the kids in the back. So a lot of newer SUVs have been using this feature where you could just pop it into snow mode, where you're going at a lower speed, probably like, I would say, safely, in my opinion, no more than like 30, 40 miles per hour at the very, very most. So if you're kind of crawling in the snow and you don't want to get stuck, that's what that's for. You may have noticed the Super Bowl commercial a while back for the Kia Telluride, and it showed the car driving in all different conditions and just completely like ripping through a muddy field. This car, I feel like, could do that safely. I would feel confident. The reason I say that is because I showed you the clip of me driving this through a kind of a muddy path up and down, kind of a steep grade, and I put the all-wheel drive lock on, put it into sport mode, and it handled really well. I would imagine if I had it in snow mode doing the same thing, it would perform just as well. So other things like highway handling, back road handling, it handles very well. It checks all the boxes like a lot of other SUVs do now. Now, nobody really makes a bad SUV or a bad car. At this point, you're just comparing little things and personal things as well. For example, if you have a big family, you may want space for them in the back. If your family is all on iPads or iPhones, you may want chargers and USB ports all throughout the vehicle like this one has. So little things like that are why cars like this stand out to me, and I think they should be on the top of people's list. You have USB ports throughout the whole vehicle, little things like the grab bars here and the location of the heated seats, of course the warranty, and then you have things like the safety features as well. So you have like all of the advanced safety features. You're gonna want stuff like that in a car if you're spending $37,000, $40,000. Now when I compare this to a higher end vehicle like a BMW or a Mercedes, of course, it's not exactly the same, but once you get up there into this price point where Kia and other brands are trying to compare to other more expensive models and brands and manufacturers, you're gonna notice a lot of the same features. And as I'm driving this down the road, other than not having like a heads-up display or a heated steering wheel in this one, little stuff like that, which may matter to you and that's fine, that's really the only difference. And if that's the difference maker, go ahead and spend $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 on an SUV. But if you're asking me, and I would bet most other practical people, if you're gonna spend $37,000 on an SUV where you get everything in it like this and then some, it's gonna be more than what most people need in an SUV. For that matter, it's really gonna do the job. You have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, all the connectivity features in here as well, Kia Uvo. So with the new Apple CarPlay, I've used that quite a bit. If you don't have anything standard in the car like navigation, you're gonna have that with the Apple CarPlay as well, and it's gonna check those boxes as well. All right guys, here's a better look under the hood, the new 3.8 liter gasoline direct injected Kia engine. This is a V6. This is gonna give you quite a bit of power, and then you're gonna have the all-wheel drive transmission as well. Now this hood is auto closing and auto opening. So as you just hit the lever here, it goes up kind of on its own with the shocks. That's what I mean right there. You have this nice grille right here. You have this silver finish, and that actually passes right through right there. And then you're gonna have the LED lights right here. So as you look at it from this angle, I would say that it looks a lot like a Suburban or a Yukon or a GM vehicle. But then as you come back, You'll notice it just has that classic Telluride look. And when you see one of these on the road, it kind of catches your eye and you know for sure it's a Kia Telluride. Focusing on the back now, you'll have the nice Kia logo with the Telluride written right across. Love how that looks. Again, this is an all-wheel drive. You'll have the dual exhaust tips over on the side. And it has a nice sound to it. It's not meant to be aggressive. It's not a sports car, but when you're in it and outside of it, it has a nice tone to it where it's not just wimpy. It definitely gets the job done, has a lot of power, and sounds nice. Along with having the all-wheel drive on this model, this is the SV6. Again, this is everlasting silver. So you'll notice this one does not have the power tailgate. But we lift that up, comes up nice and easy. So par for the course, I do have my camera bag back here, but you'll notice you have the floor mats, the cargo cover right here, which is pretty big. That'll go all the way across there, and that's going to keep your stuff private. So a cool thing I want to point out, I think it's really clever on Kia's part. You have a USB port there. You have one over in the sides of each seat up front as well. So you have 4 USB ports in the back for passengers. Not a lot of other SUVs have that. You could tell me they do, and that's fine, but this really sticks out to me on the Kia. And again, for the money, for the car, for what you're getting, you have a lot of technology that really fits the whole family in this vehicle. Again, you're gonna have left and right, second row, automatic folding seats. Now, they don't come up automatically, but for example, if I push this, that's going to go down on its own so you can load stuff in and out. And then, of course, under all of this stuff right here, you have the third row. So I will cut to a clip right now of that being up, showing you the different storage as well. And then under here, you have storage under here as well. So I will cut to another clip of actually that standing up and sitting on its own. You can actually, I found a way to just tuck it right in front of these seat belts. And that way it sits up on its own as you're loading stuff in and out, groceries, sports gear, whatever you want to put back there. As we jump up here to the front, sporty steering wheel, okay? And then you have the piano black that's covered in this white plastic. So I'm not going to take that off because it's going to leave that weird residue. I'll leave that for the detail guys at this dealership. But you have this nice knob right here. You have the automatic lock right here for the all-wheel drive that locks it into gear if you are in muddy conditions. And then you have the comfort, sport, smart, eco, and snow mode. So depending on whatever condition you're in, you can actually just take this vehicle anywhere, whether you're in a field somewhere and it's muddy, or if it's snowy or rainy, you are set and comfortable with your family to go anywhere you want, anywhere in the country or the world really in this car. It's awesome. Right below this large touch screen, you're going to have your climate control. Now, these are just your regular analog buttons here, no touch screen or fancy stuff on the S model, but that's okay. You have this down here, which is another USB port, tons of storage, and then these are these really cool grab bars, which are just nice to hang on to or hold on to. And then you have what looks like a window button in a Jeep, how they're in the center, but these are actually the heated seats, and you have 3 different levels as well. And that's on both sides, driver, passenger. Now here's a better look at the dial again. Now this is going to change into comfort, sport, smart, eco, and snow mode. And then you can lock in the all-wheel drive here. So it's just in a really easy to access, nice to use position. And then your electronic parking brake, of course, is standard, auto hold, auto engine idle off, and you can turn off the parking sensors as well. So this is pretty standard as far as the layout goes for what the newer Kia models are looking like. I just noticed that these heated seats up here and these grab bars are in a pretty cool place, and they just kind of make the vehicle stand out compared to a lot of other SUVs out there. Just past the steering wheel, you'll notice you have this nice digital screen right here. This is just like a lot of the other screens on the Kia models, and you have your analog controls right here. Wish those were digital, but that's okay. That's the only downside and bad thing I could find about the car. Right here is your big touch screen. So you have the buttons on the side, radio, media, etc. But this is also touch, so you can hit menu right here and sort through all the menus. You have Kia Uvo, of course, which is amazing. You can do so many things with Kia Uvo. I mean, you can get the app, you can get the different packages. You can even use your Alexa at home to start your car. So definitely check out Uvo if you haven't. I think it's very, very cool and innovative on Kia's part. Going back to the radio, you have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and then you have, of course, satellite radio, FM, AM. So this is a nice big touch screen as well. So no shortage of features on the radio or any technology for that matter. So as we check out the back, of course, you have the second row that's going to slide back and forth, it's going to recline a little bit, and then it's going to kick forward a little bit. So depending on how tall you are, big you are, it does not matter. Everybody's going to fit back here. No complaints for the back. And of course, this leather that's stitched and perforated right here, it has that nice feel just like any other Kia leather has. And then these, of course, are split, 60-40 right here. You can have them all folded down, so you just push this button, and it actually goes on its own, just like I've noticed in the Honda models. So it's definitely comparable to the other models that were, I guess, trumping the competition that had third-row SUVs, but now this really kind of kicks those out and beats those based on the value and what you get. Also, the USB ports in the driver passenger seat, that's like the biggest exciting new feature for me. I'm sure those are on other vehicles, but again, notice that right off the bat, you have 4 of them in the back, so everybody sitting anywhere can charge their iPads, their phones, whatever they want. Then you'll notice you have the nice piano black gloss finish right here, 12-volt outlet down there, and then over across there, along all of the doors, you have that nice silver finish along the speakers and the door handle right there as well. So as we move up to the ceiling, you'll notice that you have the sunroof. That's nice, of course. But over here, you have the vents and your climate control. So you have that for the rear, so everybody in the back can control as well. Now, I like that it's up there because you don't have kids kicking the back climate control. If you have younger kids like I do, you'll notice when they're in car seats or sitting in the back, they tend to kick everything. So when that's up in the ceiling and out of the way, it stays how it's supposed to be, and the older kids don't get mad when the climate control changes. All right, guys, and just like that, this vehicle review is over. This was the 2020 Kia Telluride S V6. If you enjoyed the vehicle, make sure you hit that like button like always, and subscribe if this is your first time at the channel, and make sure you hit the bell so you get notified when I put out more vehicle reviews and videos like this. We have all different topics and content automotive-wise on this channel, and leave a comment down below on what you liked or didn't like and what I should cover in the next video. So until next time, I'm Philip with Geared Towards Automotive.